Hi friends, welcome back. In this module we will look at some examples of automation workflows using files. I've actually prepared about 5-6 scenarios that we can go through each one. So the first one that we're going to cover is the scenario where you have like a compressed and encrypted file on FTP, and if it's actually you're scheduled using a file drop. Okay, in this particular case we're actually going to look at the products data. And we have a table called product catalog. Our data extension is called product catalog. Right now you can see it's got 0 records in there. So we're going to import data from the file into this particular data extension. And the file that we're going to look at is, as you can see here, it's a zip and encrypted as a PGP file. So we're going to drop it to this file drops folder here under the import, and then we're going to see it run as well. So before we run that, let me quickly show you how the configuration looks like. As you can see, we've actually configured the starting source as a file drop. What it actually says is it's looking for the file location import / file drops like you saw on that FTP folder earlier. And it'll still have the Q files. If I go into edit, it will show you it's looking for the contains file name pattern, and it's looking for any file name that contains the word products in there. Okay, and it's in this folder called file drops. Now earlier in the file in the starting sources video, I've actually shown you how to use some of these folders for file drop automation, so you can refer to that for additional information. Okay, then the first activity that we will configure is the file transfer, because we want to move the file from the FTP back into the safe house, and from the safe house we will import that using the import file activity. So we've configured both of those. Let's just quickly look at the summary over here. So it's basically using the manage file option. We're looking for the file products.zip.pgp like we showed earlier, and it's in the file drops folder, which we've configured in our FTP locations. You will unzip and decrypt the file to the safe house. Okay, we cancel out of there. The import file, if you can see, it's like going to the product catalog data extension, like the one that we saw here. Okay, it's looking for the location that it will actually look at for the file is the exact target safe house, and by the time we decrypt and unzip the file using the file transfer activity, the file name should be products.csv. So that's what we're going to provide. Where it says it's a comma delimiter file, get all the data, map it by header row. It's going to be an add and update option, and it's already mapped to the fields in the data extension. Okay, so pretty much everything configured here. It's all good to go. So now let's see how this runs. Before we run that, there's one more here. So this is the activity tab, which actually shows you anything that's actually running for this particular automation, right? So this workflow, the workflow shows you all the various steps that you've configured, but then when it's running, or if you want to look at what's the status of that particular activity right now, you can actually come to this activity tab. A couple of things that is good to notice is one is if you hover over this, I should give you the details of any errors that you've had, or if it's completed. Also, it's a good practice to add your email address here. One is to let you know when the run is completed, or if there's any errors or it actually skipped. So because sometimes the screen doesn't refresh, and then you have to wait for a few minutes. So you will always get notified as soon as it is completed, so you can just come back and check. Okay, so with that, let me go ahead and put this file into here, into import file drops. I'm gonna say okay, there you go. So the file's in, and let's go ahead and refresh this. It may take a few seconds for it to come, so we'll just pause and just come back once it's there. Sorry, there was a small glitch in my earlier configuration. I actually forgot to activate the particular workflow, so you have to come back and make sure it's active. So I just activated that right now, and then if you look for if we do the file drop now, it's gonna go ahead and start the activity. Okay, so let me go back and do that again. So I deleted the old file from there before that, so now the automation is active. I just drop the file on there, and when you come into activity, you should see it kicking off. There it goes. So you'll see it will actually show you that the file drop just started, and it's because of the the products.zip.pgp at the import file drops location. It's looking for a file with a pattern containing the word products. You can just go ahead, click refresh to see how it's progressing. So you can always go back and then hover over it as well, like it will show it's like running right now. The ones that's not completed, it will actually show it's not completed. So this one, you can just refresh, and once it's completed, you will see it turn green, right? And the ones that are in gray or dark gray is probably like it's running. So you have to just keep refreshing till you finally get the full green for all the icons on here. So as you can see, like everything has been completed right here. So which means like, there was no errors. You'll notice here that, one of the earlier runs that we had, there was an error. Like, it couldn't find the file, so it'll give you an error if it wasn't able to find that file. So you have to go and fix that and then rerun the automation, right? If it's successful, you will not see any issues. You will just say complete, and then you will get an email to the email address that you've given as well, right? So now that this automation is complete, let's go and check if the data actually did come in. So earlier it was like 0. I'll just go back and refresh and come back here. There you see 126 records is what we actually like uploaded. It just came back into the product catalog successfully. So there you have it, folks. That's how you actually do a file drop automation, where you want to get data from an encrypted and compressed file from the FTP into your data extension. Hope this was helpful. In the next video, we will look at a similar scenario, but it's going to be a regular CSV file that we will have in the FTP folder. And how do you actually get that data into a data extension? You don't have to do any decryption or unzipping. So we can just use the import directly to get that into data extension. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching.